Wow, I'm standing here mesmerized from the 124th floor of the observation deck of the Burj Khalifa, riding on a yacht with the wind blowing through my hair and the salty water hitting my face in the marina, bouncing joyously, going about 60 miles an hour over the desert sand dunes, perusing the stores like Prada, Gucci, Louis Vuitton at the City Center Mall, pointing my finger over the top of the Burj Al Arab. If you guessed that I was in Dubai, you are correct. Welcome to the Successful But Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring, live from Dubai edition. Yes, the chance of a lifetime trip to Dubai was simply amazing, y'all. So I decided to do lessons learned from around the world. Join me as I talk about the great things I've discovered while sitting on the sandy beaches in Dubai, visiting the malls, chilling at the Burj Al Arab, and riding the yacht at the Dubai Marina. My goal is not to rub it in or create any jealousy. It's totally to inspire you that during this single season, you need to be doing everything you have set out to do, you dreamt of doing, you vaguely thought about accomplishing. While you're unmarried, this is a season. Not saying that we can't accomplish anything when we get married, but right now, y'all, it's the time to live, dream, and go big or go home. Okay? So let's get started. Let's get motivated. Take a listen and enjoy. Hello, everyone. It's Natalie Freeman, your host of Successful But Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring, where we create a community of successful singles by sharing their stories and inspiring you to do the same, to get out there, be successful, live your dream, live in purpose, on purpose. And y'all, that's exactly what we're doing. So here we are today. Y'all, this is Successful But Single live from Dubai edition. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We are out here in Dubai. Yes, we are. It's a group of us, but today I came to take some time for myself, meditate and reflect, but also to give you some great content on the beach in Dubai. Amazing scenery. But come on in, tune in and listen. Gets the encouragement that you need. Y'all, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. We're almost 900 downloads. Can you believe that? Just starting in February, 900 downloads, doing a phenomenal job. And that cannot happen without you. Yes, I'm the visionary. Yes, I want to create a huge, successful community and a movement of people, y'all, who are living in purpose, on purpose, while they're unmarried. But it's because of you that a podcast exists, because you tune in every week to listen, be inspired, but most importantly, get out there and do your thing without a ring. Okay, so thank you for continuing to listen. If you have ideas for the show, you want to be on the show, have great sponsors, ideas for the show, email us at successfulbutsinglepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. You want some merchandise? Email us successfulbutsinglepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to get that out to you. So let's get started. Y'all, so what's going on in Dubai? A group of us decided that we wanted to go to Dubai. So here we are. But as I'm sitting here, y'all, I've taken this week to reflect. We've had over a week to be here and just get out and do great things, y'all. Go to the market, be in the city, go to the mall, get on the yacht, do several photo shoots, right? Desert, beach location, and everywhere else. But during this time, I took some time for myself, being unmarried, to figure out what is going on in life, figure out what I need to do for my next steps. And you know what? I came up with 3 things that I wanted to encourage you with, because 9 times out of 10, in this single season, in this season that you're unmarried, you could be dating, you could be mating, you could even be engaged. But during this single season is a crucial time for us. It's a crucial time for us all. I think that's what I meant to say, right? It's a crucial time for us to get out here and figure some things out, because this season, y'all, is going to be so imperative for you to go forward and continue to do great things, or begin to do the things that you were really destined on this earth to do. Okay, so here are 3 things that I have come up with while I've been sitting on the beach. I've been going to the market. I've been laughing and joking with friends. Y'all, I learned how to play spades in Dubai. Okay. Yeah, watch out for me. I'm coming for you now. So, but while we're out here doing all these great things and laughing, these are 3 things that I have come up with that I want to share with you. So get your pad, get your journal, or just listen in. We're going to take a ride, okay? This is Successful But Single Podcast, doing our thing without a ring with your host, Natalie Freeman. Y'all, so today we're talking about what are some of the things that you should be honing in on during your single season. Yes, we all want to boo or bae. Yes, we want to travel the world with that significant other, that life partner, that person who's going to push you to reach your goals. But what if that hasn't happened yet? What are you going to do? What do you need to be working on? What do you need to be focusing on? I have come up with 3 things, and I want you to listen to these 3 things right now. Number 1, know your worth. Okay? I said it slow, I said it for emphasis, and I'm about to pause for effect. Absolutely. Y'all, growing up in life, we spend a lot of time learning the worth of things, right? What do I mean? Think about it. When you're in school, one of the first things that you do in class, you learn how to count money, right? In math class, y'all remember that? You learn the worth of the penny, the worth of the dollar, the worth of the drachma if you're in other countries, right? The value of the dirham. That's what we're learning about right now in Dubai, right? You learn those words. You learn what it means to have a dollar. You learn what it means to spend a dollar. You learn what it means to make $100,000. You learn what it means, though, if you make $100,000, but you spend in your life, or of course over a year of your wages, $80,000 or $90,000 or even $120,000, right? We begin to learn over time what it means to count money. We learn what it means for the value of our services for those of us who are entrepreneurs, right? You learn that for a certain service, that if you charge $300 an hour, that's either going to be above what the worth of your services is, below what the worth of your services is, or you're going to look around and see that in my industry, in my market, this is what I'm worth. This is the going rate, right? This is how you can be competitive, right? And continue to put some food in the mouths of your family and your children. We learn a lot about worth, but do we take some time to learn about our worth, our personal worth, what we are worth and what we can do? Do we take time to do that? Do I take time to learn about the fact that I am someone of value? Do I have time? Do I take time to think about, if I've learned so many skills over so many years, I am considered an expert in that area. And people not only will listen to me because I have these life experiences or these skills that I've attained or these licenses that I've acquired, they will also pay me for it, right? That's learning how to know your worth. Have you been in a relationship where the person didn't know your worth, or you didn't know your worth, so you did not know how to communicate your worth to that person? And what happened? Abuse. What happened? A relationship where you weren't compatible. You might have had chemistry, right? She might have been sexy. She might have had that big booty, right? That man, he might have driven that nice car that you like, or even smelled good all the time, or even worked in a job that had some status, so that when you walked through the door with him, all eyes were on you all. But did you take time to learn the worth of the relationship? Did you take time to learn your worth so you could clearly communicate what you are worth and what value you bring? Our worth is nothing but learning your value. You know how we take prized possessions, or we take family heirlooms to an appraiser, right? We take a ring that our grandmother gave us to a gemologist, right? So that we can get the value of it. And by them, a professional, assessing value to that item, you know how to insure it, right? You know who you want to pass it on to or not want to pass it on to. You know what I'm saying? If something happens to you, you figure out the worth. Well, what about yourself? What professionals have you gone to assess who you are? How much time have you taken alone on the beach, by the pool, on your couch with your favorite glass of wine or your favorite drink, just thinking about who you are, what value you bring to the world? Why? Because you are valuable. You do bring value to this world. You do have a worth assigned to you that, guess what? Only the Creator has given you, and only you can affirm. Guess what, y'all? If you affirm your word, no one else can take that from you. Even if people try to assign a different word to you, but you know who you are, no one can take that away from you. It's just like knowing your name, right? If my name is Natalie Freeman, host, Successful But Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring, but people call me Sharon, am I going to answer if I know my name is Natalie? Absolutely not, y'all. Absolutely not. Because why? I've been raised, I've been groomed, it's been etched in my mind, but most importantly, it's been etched in my heart that I know who I am. Y'all check out this quote from Karen Salmonson. At your absolute best, you still won't be good enough for the wrong person. But at your worst, you will still be worth it to the right person. Before we even get into talking about who you are for the wrong person, think about your worth to yourself. At your absolute best, you still won't be good enough for some people, y'all. There will still be people who question your hair color. They'll be questioning how much money you make or what you drive, what side of town you live on, even what vacations you want to take, right? At your absolute best, when you are firing on all cylinders, when you're doing everything you feel like you're supposed to be doing and then some, it still won't be good enough for the wrong person. That's why you have to know your worth. You have to know what you bring to the table. At the end of the day, you have to be comfortable to know that I am who I am because I was created to be this person, and it's okay. But then even at your worst, let's talk about that, y'all, because guess what? Our worth comes with some flaws, right? Our worth comes with some imperfections. Our worth comes with the fact that we have to know that our perfection includes imperfection. That's right, y'all. I'm great. I'm a wonderful person. I'm a caring person. I'm a loving person. I love to have fun. I stay calm under pressure. Those are some things that are great about me, right? But guess what? Sometimes I can talk too much, or sometimes I can get angry, or sometimes I don't always see things from others' perspective. Those are things that I may have to improve on during my course of life. But what if those things don't change, y'all? What if these things are you? Now, I'm not saying go around being disrespectful. I'm not saying go around being unethical. I'm not saying go around hurting people. I'm just saying, y'all, in our life, through all the things that we strive to perfect, through all the classes that we take, all the therapy that we go to, all the drinks we could have to make the pain go away, there will still be some things that are not going to be perfect about you. But guess what, y'all? You're still worth it. You're still priceless. You are still the most valuable asset you have in your closet, you have in your showroom, you have in your life. Can I say that again? Even at our worst, y'all, you are still the most valuable asset that you have around you. And even at your worst, you will still be worth it to the right person. Did you catch what Karen said? That even at your worst, y'all, even with your imperfections, you will still be worth it to the right person. But that right person has to be you, y'all, flaws and all. You have to come to the table knowing that you're great, perfect with your imperfections, right? And you are still worth it to the right person. But that, first of all, the right person has to be you. And then when you start to create your circle, your network, the people you do business with, the person you hang out with, and ultimately, of course, your partner, that life partner, you still have to know that even at your worst, you will still be worth it to them. So if you're not worth it to people, if they're nitpicking over your imperfections, now I'm not saying y'all don't listen to wisdom, don't listen to good feedback about things you can improve on. But I'm saying if you cannot be around people who will love you unconditionally, starting with you loving you unconditionally, maybe time to change the circle. Yes, I said it. Maybe time to change the circle, y'all. So here we are, just gonna reset this podcast. It's a Successful But Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring. Your host, Natalie Freeman. We are live in Dubai, talking about how to know that you're worth it. Know your worth. That's what we're talking about today, y'all. These are some of my reflections from my time in Dubai, in hopes that it will be an encouragement and motivation for you to keep going. So we just discussed the first one, know your worth. The second one, y'all, is that you've got to reconcile your feelings with forgiveness. That's right. Can I say that again? You've got to reconcile your feelings with forgiveness. That's one thing I've learned while I've been sitting out here. Now, what do I mean by that? Reconcile your feelings with forgiveness. There are some things that have happened in your life, y'all, and you feel some kind of way about it. Can we be honest today? It may be that childhood abuse. It may be that you feel like your parents favored one of your other siblings over you. It may be the feelings of bitterness and resentment that you harbored from your job when you felt like you were skipped over from that promotion. It may be those deep hurts from that man or woman that you thought was going to be the love of your life for the rest of your life, who is somebody else right now. Okay, so y'all, we have to reconcile those feelings with forgiveness. Who should we forgive? What is forgiveness? It is, check this out, this is a tough one, y'all. Forgiveness is putting yourself in a place for the exact same thing to happen again. It's resetting your mind, it's resetting your heart, it's resetting your worth, to know that you must move on in such a way that it looks like, it feels like nothing ever happened. But in so doing, y'all, you do put yourself in a place that could happen again. Why? Because you've essentially wiped the slate clean. You've essentially said that I must go on. This may happen again, this may not. But guess what? I'm going to learn from it, I'm going to grow from it, and I'm going to move on. How does forgiveness come about? By simply asking. Who should we ask? Start with God. You may not be faith-based. Don't turn this podcast off right now. You keep listening, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why it's so important to ask God for forgiveness. God has a plan for your life. He has an ultimate plan that's going to lead to your ultimate happiness, your ultimate purpose fulfilled in your life, which all of us strive our whole life long to achieve. But also, He's got a life for you plan that's going to make Him shine bright, because it's going to make you shine bright. Can I say that again? And sometimes when we don't believe that, sometimes when we rush the process, sometimes when we do things with our own power, our own money, our own influence, we miss out on opportunities for God to shine in our life. So I say the first step in forgiveness is to ask God for forgiveness. Ask Him forgiveness for not believing His plan about you, that you are oh so awesome. Ask God to forgive you for even moving out in a territory that might have caused you to sin, and it may be now a setback that has caused you shame, that has caused you hurt, maybe physical hurt, emotional hurt, mental hurt, or spiritual hurt. Ask God to forgive you for those things, because guess what, y'all? That is where the cleansing starts. That's where the healing starts. That's where you actually begin to literally reset yourself, because God puts you in a position where He acts like it never happens. You put yourself in a position that your peace can be restored, y'all. A lot of us aren't happy, and a lot of us are going around not in peace, not living the life that we should, because we have stepped out of the plan, the master plan created by the master for your life. And it causes just you living it below your best life. So ask God for forgiveness. The next step, ask yourself for forgiveness. I know, but we're going to go around and say, well, she did this to me, and he did this to me, and she did this to me. But guess what? Take some time to talk to yourself about the thing that you haven't forgiven yourself for. Sometimes, if we look closely and are very truthful with ourselves, we will realize that list of the things that we need to forgive ourselves for outweighs that list of the things that everybody else did. Can I say that again? Sometimes, y'all, we need to take time and whittle down that list, eradicate that list of the things that we need to forgive ourselves for before worrying about the things that others have done to us. What do I mean? Forgive yourself for not loving yourself. Forgiving yourself for not letting go and you felt like you held on to that man or that woman too long. Forgive yourself for not taking the train trip just because you didn't feel like you were worth it. Forgive yourself for when your parents allowed you to be in an abusive situation and it wasn't your fault. Forgive yourself when you acted out at work because you were skipped over from the job and now you're embarrassed because everybody talked about you and called you the mad black woman or the Karen or whatever it was. Ask yourself for forgiveness. Take that weight off of you, y'all. Why? Because life happens. Situations happen. Emotions happen. Things happen that are way out of our control and way beyond our pay grade. And quite frankly, our society kind of lends itself to the pressures of life. It tells us that we should act a certain way, behave a certain way, and walk in a certain direction, okay? So ask God for forgiveness, one. Ask yourself for forgiveness, two. And then ask others. Yes, y'all, it's time to grow up. There are times, y'all, when we have to say, you know what, I was the wrong person, that I did some wrong in that situation. Not saying that you were totally responsible for a situation, but there are times, y'all, when there is forgiveness that must be asked of others. Y'all, case in point, I've learned so much from this podcast. I've learned so much from doing this podcast. Why? Because I've spoken to so many people. Y'all, at this point, it's got to be hundreds of people that I've spoken to because I'm inquisitive. I want to know how people feel. I want to know what topics they want to hear about. I want to know how they felt like they were wronged in relationships, right? So I can have great content for you. But in doing so, y'all, in speaking to men especially, and if you missed our all-male podcast on June 13, 2021, go back, listen to that all-male review, clothes on, filters off, what men are saying that women aren't hearing. It was phenomenal, y'all. It was phenomenal. So in listening to podcasts like those, and even just talking to our men, y'all, I realized that there are some things that I needed to ask others forgiveness of, y'all. Case in point. Yes, being a single mom, being an entrepreneur, being a manager, being an advisor financially, right? I've come to have some skills of strength. I know how to communicate what I need to say, and sometimes, y'all, everybody doesn't understand my communication style. Case in point, it comes out strong. Okay. Because when I have a job to do, I get it done. That's why people pay me. That's why people listen to the podcast, right? Because they have confidence in the things that I'm saying. But sometimes, y'all, those words wound. I had a very wise person told me, like, Natalie, you've been given a big sword to carry, but you must learn how to wield it carefully. Can I say that again? Somebody told me that, Natalie, you have a big sword to carry, but you have to learn how to wield that carefully. And I knew exactly what they meant for that. My words, y'all, come out, and when they come out, they are powerful, but sometimes they wound. So I've had to go back, true story, very short time ago, maybe not even a month ago, as I've been doing reflection and wanting to grow, wanting to learn. I've gone back. I've asked people, men in past relationships, for forgiveness. I've asked people that I've worked with for forgiveness. I've even asked my son, my 17-year-old son, for forgiveness because I know my words come out strong and I know they can sometimes wound. Y'all, it's time for us to grow up. It's time to be mature. It's time to understand that in order for us to go forth, we gotta grow up. Okay? And we're talking about point number two, reconciling your feelings with forgiveness. And those are the three aspects of the realms of forgiveness. Asking God for forgiveness for sins. Yep, let's just call it what it is. When you step out of the line, when you step out of the big plan, when you didn't give God the opportunity just to wow you in your life and then put you on your best path. Asking yourself for forgiveness, y'all. Sometimes we hold ourselves too tight. Again, y'all got to remember that even in our perfection, even in our awesomeness, honey, we are still imperfect people. And then number three, we have to ask others for forgiveness when we've done wrong, when we've slighted them, when we did not move ethically toward them. And then, y'all, we're just plain over rude and disrespectful. Okay? You gotta ask for forgiveness, y'all. And so these are things that we're learning, y'all, while I'm on Dubai. Thought I'd share them with you, thought I'd reflect a little, but then also thought I'd share my reflections with you. So as a recap, y'all, number one, know your worth. Number two, reconcile your feelings with forgiveness. And number three, don't rush the process. This is y'all Successful but Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring, with your host, Natalie Freeman. So y'all, again, I am just doing a little reflection live in Dubai, honey, about the things that have gone on in my life, but how I can go to the next level, how I can level up, how I can glow up. Most importantly, though, y'all, how I can grow up. So I've talked to you about two of them, and I'm going to hit the third right now. The first was know your worth, y'all. Know that you're worth it. We spend time learning how much money is worth. We learn how much our services are worth in our business. We even learn, heck, which is the better fruit at the fruit stand, right? But we don't take enough time to learn our own worth. Number two, reconcile your feelings with forgiveness, y'all. You caught some feelings. Tell the truth. You caught some feelings about some things that have happened in your life, right? Maybe it was a piece when you were little. Maybe you got overlooked for a promotion at work. Maybe it was a deep hurt in a relationship relationship. Reconcile those feelings, y'all, with forgiveness. Forgiveness is putting yourself in a place to allow that to happen again, because you've reconciled your mind, you've reconciled your heart and your feelings. And ask God for forgiveness, ask yourself for forgiveness, and when necessary, asking others for forgiveness. And number 3, don't rush the process. Y'all, I'm gonna slow down just for a little bit because we need to talk about this. Everything has a process. Think about it, y'all. Everything in life has a process. Now, when you're cooking your meals, right, there is a process. There you have the 1, gather the ingredients. 2, prepare them to be cooked in some sort of way, or arranged or prepared, right? And then 3, if there is a cooking process, right, it must go in the oven, in the crock pot, on the grill, right? Even in the refrigerator if it's not hot food, right? There is a process for everything. You know, when we have diamonds, when diamonds are cultivated, right, it is a process, right? You start out with this lump of coal, and then, you know, there's a process that happens with heating, cutting, and sitting, you know, that it becomes the diamond. There's a process when clay becomes some beautiful vase or a cup or a bowl, right? It has to settle, it has to sit, it has to be washed, it has to be wet, it has to be mixed. There are certain things that have a process. So why do you think your life doesn't have a process? Why do you think your life is not going to take time? Y'all, every great thing takes time to produce. Can I say that again? Every great thing takes time to produce. Even with the goals you have, whether it's to get a new job, a better paying job, whether it's to move to the other side of the world, whether it's to be, right, boot up for the rest of your life, if these are your life goals, these things take time. So I'm going to encourage you, get in the process, but don't rush the process, y'all. Everything takes time, but we are a generation, we are a society, we are a culture that rushes. We just speed through everything, y'all. But guess what happens when you speed through? You make mistakes. You create or cultivate unhealthy relationships or networks. When you rush, you do not learn the lessons and are destined to repeat them. Ooh, that was so good, y'all. I wish I could say that again, but I don't even know if I remember it all. Okay, when we rush, we speed through the process, we cultivate unhealthy relationships and networks. When we speed through the process, we don't realize the value of the worth of the process. When we rush through things, y'all, we make mistakes that we don't learn from and are destined to do them again. So, y'all, slow down. Y'all, we were here for 12 days in Dubai. There were so many things we had on our agenda, so many things, but we got to a point that we realized if we didn't slow down, we weren't going to enjoy the activities that we had planned. We weren't going to enjoy each other, to be here and laugh about, because we were speeding through things. There is something we even went through and did more than once because we realized we enjoyed them that much, and you know what? It was worth a repeat. It was going back to the market. It was coming back down to the beach. It was going back to enjoy a meal at, you know, a Lebanese place or whatever it was, y'all. We had a great time, but I realized in this process that we should not rush. That means there were things that we had to take off the list. There were conversations that needed to be had to say, hey, what? We think it's better if we do not do all of this. And then we had to come to an agreement that this is the best plan. Y'all, life is just like that. Your life is just like that. Your single life is just like that, y'all. You've got to take time to look at all the world has to offer because it's out there and you should get in. You should do what you need to do and as much of it that needs to be done. But you should also realize, though, that in that you're learning things, in that you're experiencing new things, in that you're learning what also not to do. So don't rush the process, y'all, okay? Because, again, we talk about rushing through so much. Even when somebody gets sick, they fall, they have a car accident. We're always like, you know, I wish you a speedy recovery. We want people just to hurry up and feel better, hurry up and get back on their feet. But guess what, y'all? If bones don't set right, they grow deformed for the rest of your life, okay? If we take time to rush through a flu, what happens? When you feel like you're better and you get up and you're moving again, now you're exhausted again. You have to go back down, lay down in your bed, and go through the recovery process all over again. What happens when we rush a meal, y'all? What happens when we cook a meal in a microwave versus a crock pot? Sometimes, right, we try to rush those eggs, they explode, or they come out rubbery, the bread comes out hard and dry, y'all, versus if we took time to put it in the crock pot. What time do we take time to put things in a crock pot? Slow, tender, juicy, moist, gravy. Y'all, come on now. Your life deserves the crock pot style of living, okay? It really does. It really does, y'all. We take time and we rush through so much that we miss so many opportunities. So I'm here to encourage you today, y'all. Don't rush the process. Know your worth. Know that, yes, y'all, I had tons to do at work, tons. But when I got this opportunity to come to Dubai, y'all, this wasn't my first invite. It was my second invite. And I said, you know what? I'm not missing it this time. So here I am. The work will be there. I will still give stellar service. I will still give as good, if not better advice when I get back financially than I did, because I've taken time to come here, relax, relate, release. I've taken time to come here, y'all, to know my worth and know I am worthy of rest, relaxation, and fun. Even if it's not with a boo, y'all. I have learned that I have got to reconcile my feelings with forgiveness, but most importantly, y'all, I have learned do not rush the process. Y'all, this has been Successful but Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring. What are the things that you're learning in your single season? Write me. Let's talk about them. Maybe I'll have you on the show to talk about them. I'm Successful but Single podcast at gmail.com. Listen here, single community. And I know some of y'all married people listening too. So listen in. This is for you too, because this is just good information, right? During this season of life, know your worth. Reconcile your feelings with forgiveness. And do not, absolutely do not rush your process. Y'all, this has been just a great time out here on the beach. Yes, it's over 100 degrees, by the way. However, it's been great because I've gotten time to reflect, relax, relate, release, but then I've also gotten time to share it with you. So I hope you're encouraged to know that this season is your season. Embrace it, grow from it, glow from it, mature from it. But most importantly, emerge successful. Emerge without ever apologizing to anyone else about your life that you were supposed to be living. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Tony Gaskins. It says, know who you are, know what you want, know what you deserve, and don't settle for less. See you next week on Successful but Single podcast, doing our thing without a ring. This is your host, live in Dubai, y'all, Natalie Franklin. Man, oh man, did you hear those seagulls in the back or the planes flying overhead? Did you hear the wind at my back or even the waves crashing on the beach? I hope it wasn't a distraction to you. I hope you were living vicariously through me in my time in Dubai. I had a great time, y'all. Just wanted to share lessons learned from around the world in hopes that you'll be inspired and encouraged to live your best life now. Have you taken a trip recently? Maybe you've done something that you've been dreaming to do for a very long time, like write a book, produce a play, or even record your first album. Tell us about it. We'd love to have you on the show to share your experiences. Email us at successfulbutsinglepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to have you on the show and spread your success story around the world. Thanks for tuning in.